Hello, everyone. As Michael said, my name is Sunil Kumar, and Michael just asked me to share some of our journey, especially from the partners and acquisition. And if I really look back, these are the two things which has been the really key to our growth over the years, and not only the growth, but also making Reliance a pleasant, a joyful place to work with, and most importantly, even heading for even more joyful but also sustainable growth over the years. So I quickly share about us. We started in 2011 in above the Commonwealth Bank in the small town in Werribee on the outer western suburb, and there was only myself, another gentleman with me, and an admin girl. So there was three of us, and we thought we really got the big location there. But in 3 years, there's only one appraisal which able to walk to us because there was no street presence. I didn't knew about the business way to set up. But in those 3 years, we actually learned all the principle, all the learnings what we built the Reliance, in last 6 to 7 years of this growth, what we're doing now. And I'm a strong believer, every dream has a price, and those 3 years of struggle was the part of the price what we paid in terms of building Reliance. And one of the thing is, in those 3 years, I think one of the thing which stand with me is the pressure, because the pressure of from every angle, you're not able to pay your bills, and we failed within a year and a half, within 18 months of opening a business, but then really need to get back out and listing and selling and trying to survive. The one thing stand with me as well is pressure is a privilege. And I'm sure us as a business owner, we go through a lot of pressurous situation, but every time you go through that situation, one of the learning we have is obstacle is the way. Wherever you have obstacle, where there is a pressure, you need to really go more closer to it and find out what are the opportunity within it. So what Reliance looks like now is we are a team of 168 team members. We have a finance department as well, so we write about 500 loans a year and 3,200 properties under management, 11 offices, and 1,500 sales a year. That's what the numbers looks like now. But most importantly, it's a pleasant and joyful place to work for most of us, where we really look forward to spend our time. And there is a number of us there. We have grown very strategically in mainly in the outer western suburb mainly, and now start targeting the outer northern suburb of Melbourne as well. And this has been a very big thing for us rather than growing all over the place. We very strategically how we can really support our vision, how we can support our team, how we can put more board in the adjoining suburb and have some market share in there. About 5 years ago, we ran an exercise to find what is our purpose. And it was a very difficult, almost 4 to 6 months going through with one of the experts to finding what is our purpose. And after a lot of sessions within our core leadership team, we find enabling people to fulfill their dream. And I think if I wake up every day, go to office, go to work, this is the aim, enabling my team. I love taking someone from the scratch, or from the first interview, and then showing them the training and development. And really, most of our partners who come in the business, he started from that scratch. So we really have this purpose, enabling people, and that's what we do as a business support team at the back end, trying to provide that environment so our team do their life's best work. And then we worked on our vision. What is our vision? Our vision is really the top 3 real estate agents in all market we serve, or real estate agencies in any market we serve. And that is a big vision for us. So any decision we make, either that's a small one, either that's acquisition, hiring, or a new software, we take it against our vision. Are we getting closer to or far away from our vision by taking these steps? So that's why vision is so important. As Michael asked me to share, I think a big shift happened from 2018. After 2018, we were mainly the sales-driven organization, because my background is sales, and so rental, we didn't really understand it. But it's a significant change, and there was a lot been spoken about the property management. We're still learning, But we did five, actually six acquisitions in last 3.5 years. And they have actually changed our business. And how they have changed it is the very first one. We acquired an agency in near the Melbourne Airport region in Sunbury, 113 properties, 3 people, and we acquired that and merged with Reliance. But the second one we did is 630 properties in Point Cook, one of the very competitive market. And after struggling for 5 years, after taking that acquisition, within 6 months, we claimed the number one position in that market. There are some really good operators in that market, some big names out there, but just because of help of the property management acquisition. So that is where I think there's lots spoken about yesterday as well. We need to find where the opportunities are, whether you need to acquire or hire some of the talents. And then we find a bit of mantra now is wherever we open office now. Our last office we opened about 3 months ago in Craigieburn, or the second last acquisition. So we did 280 acquisition there. We're settling this month, and that's again the aim is to create one of the top 3 agencies in that market as well. So this has been significant for us, not only from the numbers point of view, but also how the organization is. We're not only the sales-based organization anymore. We have the both wheel running parallelly, and we keep on improving on that. The next significant step is, or which has been the very important one, is the partnership. So this is, we don't poach other talents. We are totally hire our own new recruits, and in later slide I'll talk about what are the requirements when we hire. It's all start with the recruiting right, and then providing them excellent onboarding. And I think that is the one thing which differentiates us from a few other organizations, is because we have a good culture, because 95% of our team is started from the scratch. So they learn the way, so they learn the Reliance way in a way. So they didn't really come up with many other different habits from the different areas. And in last few years, we had improved on our onboarding as well. So now they're really learning that part. Then training and developing individual, I think that's another area where Michael has been a great help from last 6 years. We work directly with Michael as our head coach and as a mentor to our business. And then identifying the A players. I think there has been a number of talk about identifying the A players. I think we done some good things identifying our A players and keeping them engaged with us, so they can see the vision, they can be part of our business as well, and then offer the growth opportunities. Because by yourself, you can only do limited things. And if you get this right, especially the partner, and then business expansion. We have partners in different offices, and there are 3 different categories. Managing partners, so they're directors. Most of them are the high performer team members who grown from the scratch, and now they're doing really well, producing a dollar, and also training the new team members in the process. Then we have a partners performer. They really is the achievers, but now they're obviously internal part of the business. So it doesn't rely on one person. Now it's number of us really growing to our vision, to our purpose, and really making the place is very pleasant to work for our extended team. And then we have some silent partners as well, where they're just doing their best, like they're putting their 100% in the business. And I think there was a bit of a discussion happen about the partners in rental. So that's where it looks like in property management. We have a couple of silent partner, but they've been exceptional leaders within their own rights and lifting the whole organization in that process. And if you get this right, I'm sure many of us have this. So the upside is huge. So you can really, one of the good challenge we have is we can go away, or I can personally go away for a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. The business do better when I'm away sometime. It's a good problem to have. I think my team always sees, so they can get more work done. I'm not disturbing or not putting another project on them, things like that. So I think there are so much upside to it. And then you can have a life too. Otherwise, business can consume your life, and you can, without the support, you can really grow. But but you will not have that kind of freedom or that kind of a lifestyle. We now envision for more freedom and more partners and a bigger kind of a space, or bigger kind of footprint for Reliance. Mainly, like our purpose was, top three agencies in any market we serve, but importantly, providing a growth opportunities to our extended team, because most of the sales, or especially the high performer sales team members, they are very ambitious. And I think it's been spoken about, their age is about 2 to 4 years from the time you hire them. If you don't show them the pathway, if you don't show them the right opportunities in the future, they will be talking to other franchisees, or maybe, possibly become your own competition as well along the way. So I think that is important. We really need to see who are A players and how we built them into the leadership. We have that program with the help of Michael, and so we really, do that. And sometime, and I think the same thing, we have to say no to people as well, although they've been a good performer. But if they're not aligned with our culture, not aligned with our values, that's where I think we don't take them on, especially in the leadership. This year, despite the the shortage of the team members, we had a good growth in terms of 62 new team members we hired, 38 of them in sale, 14 in rental, and 8 in operation team. Because over the years, we were able to build a good brand, especially in our area, and we do a number of events, and so we recognize for our good work. So there has been a number of good recruitments in this year. And how we've been recruiting is, we normally talk about always recruiting. There are some of the steps we take. So 3 career nights in a year. That could be an online one, that could be face-to-face. We've done only one face-to-face. We think online via Zoom, they've done really well. People can join from their home, and in one of them is 122 people register, and 98 of them is joined as well. And then we can take them to the journey whom we're gonna hire. Then we have a team referral program. So if somebody refer a right team member, they get a referral. Social media has been a big one. We develop our team value proposition as well, like what are the benefits of working with Reliance. And SICK, obviously, is, as everyone knows, has been a big one. And LinkedIn Recruiter, and the last one is Bullhorn Recruitment CRM. But most importantly, the dedicated team around it, a full-time recruitment manager we have. She's been fantastic. And then HR advisor, and also support with the HR admin. So really, what this is the work we did in mainly in the COVID time. We really identified how we're gonna take Reliance further, because between 18 and 20 we didn't really recruit much. So that's where we sort of don't have that many leaders coming up. But in last 2.5 years, we've done a lot of good recruiting. We really identified what our ideal candidate profile. I think that's a very important one. In fact, I wrote a book which I'm going to talk about later in my presentation, and I put everything in there. What is the ideal candidate profile? So ideal candidate profile for us is easy one. The first and foremost is they have to be energetic and driven one. When you're sitting across and having an interview, you possibly know within first 5 minutes, like what's their drive like, how are they energetic in their and what they have done. The second one we normally measure is achievers. Have they been achiever in their in the sports, in the school, in the previous job, or in life journal? Have they been in generally life? Have they been an achiever? So that's the second one. Third one is the team player. Are they good team player, or they are the solo, operators, and sometimes they can put a little bit of damage to the culture. So over the years, we have to say no to a couple of even the right people, because they were not coming with the right mentality. They were just about themselves only. And the fourth one is, as Michael spoke about as well, is coachable. Are they teachable? Are they? What's their mentality? Because if someone is energetic and driven and they're coachable, you can really teach them rather than poaching another talent who's been there in 3 to 4 years in the real estate. You can train them in 12 to 18 months. What we believe, they become as good as anyone in the competition. So rather, that has been our mantra. That has been our success kind of philosophy. It's take little time, a little longer than going after someone, but that is, I think I haven't worked out or I haven't seen a best way of doing it. Because now with technology and the right training, in 12 to 18 months, you can really make them engaged in any competition and they can win business in that. And last one is, I think most of us, we understand is they has to be local, like not very far. They're living from the local area where they're serving. So I think, again, over 90% of our team live in 30 minutes of drive where they work, especially the sales agent and the rental as well. I think in 2018, one of the, from Business of Real Estate, Michael had Sharon Srivastava from US, and he given a keynote speech, and I was having a one-on-one conversation with him, and he mentioned to me, Sunil, one thing you need to improve in your business is your onboarding experience. And he said 50 to 60% of your business problems or the challenges will go away once you have an excellent onboarding experience for your team. So from that time, we worked on our onboarding experience. It has been the very first, when they start, they get a welcome gift box. So that's contained in one of my book, our journal, a few other things as well. So most of the time, we start them in a group, like 5, 6, 7, 8 of them together. And the next thing, they get access to the onboarding website. So they know where to park, who's the colleague, and a little bit about them, about the director of the office, and every other thing as well, which is the sort of a fine detail they need to know about it. Then a group induction, which the first session goes with me, about 2-hour session, so a bit of introduction to Reliance purpose, what is our vision, and what is our history, and where are we heading. So from day one, we really provide them that kind of insight, so they align with our business there. And a 10-week of training, especially for the sales, we haven't able to do as good as job with the rental. We're working on it, but with the sales, I think we nailed it really. It's a 10 weeks, so 2 sessions a week, and that consists of the prospecting, and our team member, or like our current performers, do conduct those trainings. If somebody is really good on the prospecting, on the door knocking, so they talk about door knocking. So they come up, and that's been a great elevation for the current team members as well. They get, they feel very valued, and their skill upgrade as well in that process. And legal and compliance, and then one of the things we've done in these 10 weeks of training is we teach them the listing presentation. 4 weeks, step by step, what should they do in a pre-listing, what the first 5 minutes of listing presentation should look like, how you start the conversation, how you talk about the company, how you talk about yourself, and how you talk about the strategy. Because most of the real estate, and even my experience was, nobody taught anything. You just go in a living area and you learn by yourself. And then we do, I think that has been a real game changer. And then end of that 10 weeks, they get tested, like they do a live listing presentation to one of our team member. And they have to really pass 8 out of 10, on that listing presentation. So we know by that time now they're ready to go out and win business. I think Michael talked about that a lot. Is your team is ready? If you're going for a war, along those lines. So by that time, we know they are ready, and now they're allowed to go on a listing presentation. Appraisals, different story, but on listing presentation, now they can go out, and we know, they can win. If there is more agents, then a senior agent go with them, but by that time, we know they can now win the business, and they can represent Reliance in the nicest possible way. The next one is, obviously, we do check-in calls with them every 4 to 6 weeks. And then end of that thing is we do, after 10 weeks, is breakfast catch-ups as well, just to see how they experience the whole thing, training. And I think, as Martin said, what 1 or 2 things they can tell us what we can improve in the process. So that has been a journey for us, really, about the acquisition, and then the partners, and the onboarding experience. Last thing I want to talk about is the book I wrote about. Last year, this month, last year, I published this book called From the Ground Up. And I think this is, as we all real estate agents here, you can understand this is the hardest thing I ever done, or maybe in the future if I rewrite or write another book, that's not going to be as hard as this one. Because first of all, I'm a real estate agent. The second one is English is my second language, and still working 10 to 12 hour a day, and still have a family along those lines. But I believe as a leader, we really need to earn the right to be leaders. Since published that book, I'm sure there is a lot of PR, lot of credibility outside of my organization. But I think my time, how it's been valued by my team members, has been double or triple in its value. If I sit with someone having a one-on-one over a phone call, they know, they respect the fact, like, leading by example is the name there. So, and publishing this book is close to my heart because originally I'm from India, and so whatever the proceeding we're getting from this book, we brought 20 copies of that. We're educating the underprivileged kid in India. So we have 20 copies, and I know 10 copies been taken from outside. So if you have taken this value of $30, so you can find myself or one of my team member here, and it's all going for a right cause. And so that is our story. And on the last note, I really wanna take this time in this public forum. Really wanna thank you, Michael Sheargold, because 2015 I attended the business of real estate, sitting somewhere at the back. And coming out of that business of real estate, somebody, Amy Theis, is in the room as well. She almost forced me to join the group, and I never looked back. We were opening our second office at the time. We are 11 offices now, number of sales there, and I think Michael has been my and my group's biggest strength. So, Michael, thank you very much for this, all these years.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you, Sunil.